Good. Yeah, no, one big lesson that I've been learning this year is about celebrating your W's. So
Yeah,
keeping receipts and telling people what's what after you make it, that's definitely a W. So
yeah.
celebrate that shit.
You
Uh
also have to understand, like, sorry, there's also, I'm sorry, I'm
oh no.
talking again,
No,
but
man,
there's
do it.
also something like you have to understand, like when you get negative feedback, um, when you get negative feedback that is like, what the fuck is this? Cringe, blah 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 blah. Like that's very aggressive to something that
Mhm.
shouldn't be that aggressively reacted to. It is like just it's a good sign. Like every time I've had a project that's done that, it's usually been a success story because um it means that your project is being pushed to people who would not normally like it as well. Like it's getting big enough to people where people are annoyed because it's so big. It's reaching a lot of people. That is a good sign because what you don't want is silence. Because
Mhm.
when people normally don't like something, they just click off.
Yeah.
Like most people just click off. When people are watching something and they need to say something because they want to express their opinion and take down something that's finding them or that other people like, it's usually a good thing because it means that there are one opinions on the opposite end, and two, your project is being pushed out. It's popular. It's like it's being seen by other people. You know, that's unless there's like a giant back. I'm saying like when there's like a weird backlash. When there's like a
Mhm.
giant backlash, or like you've said something really fucked up, you should probably look into that. But
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah, no, I relate to that a lot because this year, one of the things I got to do is I was a creative producer for the Arc World Tour Finals earlier
oh
this year
shit,
for yeah. So we did like these player intros where like we had the players like pose like the characters, and it was exactly that where like like some people gave like really bizarre like negative feedback where it's like, oh, why would you force the players to do this? What's wrong with you? This is about the games, not about the player or not about having fun, blah blah, blah or whatever. But like being at
wait,
the,
what?
yeah, it was really weird. Like some people were like, "Oh, this is about the game, not the players," or "This isn't about having fun. This is serious," or whatever. Like people were just being super weird. But being in the room where we aired it and hearing like the oohs and ahs from the crowd was definitely one of those moments where it's like, "Oh shit, okay, we did something good here."
Yeah,
So I wanted
like
to
I
ask,
think
like, were you at Evo when your songs debuted? Specifically, dude, like Run Back City. When I heard Run Back City, I was sitting there at Evo. It was just one of those things where it was like, damn, and I haven't stopped up thinking about Run Back City since.
oh,
Were you
thank
at
you.
Evo? Were you able to like get
Yeah,
like
I
audience
ran.
reactions?
I was yeah, like literally, I was in the front row, and we ran across the front row and told everybody to fucking stand up. So
Hell
we were
yeah.
screaming, telling the whole row like, "Stand up!" Like me, I was just going fucking nuts in the front row, so I get to enjoy the video, but I got to fucking get hype and shit like that. And watching everyone stand up in the crowd was definitely a fucking like a big moment that I've been trying to like.
Hell yeah.
I worked hard. We worked hard for that moment. Like that was something we didn't know if it would happen. We thought it could. We thought it would happen. It would either happen and people were like, why are we doing this? What the fuck? Like, or people would get hype and people were screaming. They got the guile thing. Because also when we did the guile thing first, like so Alex V, who's the producer on it, I sent him the idea for like the guile because when he gave the beat and I sent him the idea of he did the guile section and I sent him the idea of doing the like the Raw Julia bit before it and because I've done references to Bison like for two, so it's like a trilogy kind of right, like where I've
Mhm.
done this reference twice, and it's also a celebration of Evo and stuff. So I was like, this is like I came here to fight people. No, we outside now. People know, but that's for the from the pandemic and everything. But I came here to fight. Everybody knows that shit. Um, Let's Go Justin got a way bigger reaction than I thought it would. I thought people would think that's a throwaway line, and they fucking loved it. But I've mentioned that Daigo Justin kind of thing for a while.
Mhm.
And then the chorus got a big thing. So funny thing when I wrote the chorus for the la 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 la
Oh
la
yeah.
la, two things. So I have a song called "Feels Like 1994" where I go la 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 da. I was referencing that and I was like, "Oh, like that's just a thing in hip hop where that happens." I completely forgot that it was fucking Menon until midway through when we were doing the song, and we were like, "Oh, okay, this is gonna fucking work." So then I got my girlfriend Maddie to do background vocals and everything like that. And she did fucking an amazing job. And so like, bro, like it was like I was like, oh shit, that got a response. And then when he heard the Raw Julia thing, he was just like, bro, this is corny, bro. Like it's corny, bro. I'm like, I don't think. All right, we'll take it out. And then like, I think this is the good thing about we were so swamped, I didn't give them another version to do it. And then they were like, I was like, hey man, so we're probably gonna switch it out and have something else. He's like, we can't do that right now. I'm like, why? Like, we are already halfway through that. And if you say that, it will fuck the whole project. So that stays. And everyone is kind of obsessed with it. And I'm like, oh great. Well, no, he didn't say that, but he was like, Rick really likes it. We all really like it. We know where this is going. And they spent a fuck ton of time on that shit. And so like to the point where like I redid the Raw Julia thing to make it more intense, and then Rick was like, put it back to the first version you did, that you were just kind of doing it for a demo. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And that played really, really well. And the fact that people saw it as a tribute, the fact that it kind of encapsulated everything that we wanted to do, the fact that we got to do like, what's even crazier is like the weakest song on that album, I felt it wasn't the weakest song, but we were really worried about it because it was just like, it was a song that we had to just finish up the quickest because we didn't get to spend the most time on it, was Fight or Fade. We were so worried that people would think that's weak, and some people were like, it's not as good as the other ones. Everyone loves that song. That song is one of the best songs on the album. Because people immediately were like, oh, it's a fucking Linkin Park AMV for Dragon Ball Fighters. Like, that's fucking awesome. And it mentions rollback. Like, bro, like, I'm just so happy that it was communicated and everybody kind of saw themselves in that. You know, there was some controversy with KOF, but like a lot of the Mexican players were very, very happy. I was just, yeah, like Run Back City, like I was in the crowd for all of them. I will say this year there were a lot of sound problems for the first 2 days, and that was contributing to some of my worries. We were doing social media differently. We were kind of figuring it out on the fly. How were we going to do it? But Chris, who runs the Evo socials, is such a fucking just a genuinely, everybody who works at Evo now is just a genuinely good person. And I've worked in and around this event and around FGC stuff for a while. And people like Level Up are great, and people like the Evo team right now are great. Like, it's hard to find, like, usually you will meet certain people in bigger companies, having worked at Apple and having worked at through like the last year, getting to do a bunch of collaborations where sometimes it's hit and miss. Sometimes you find people who are just kind of like not the easiest to work with. It's not their fault. It's just they're disorganized. Sometimes it just happens. It's not a personal thing. But these guys are like, bro, we know how it is. We fucked up. We're gonna help you out. We're gonna make sure. Like, there's a genuine heart there that you don't find in a lot of other places. And I was Chris, like, when we were worried the album was gonna bomb the first 2 days, and then fucking the third day they went overdrive and they banked everything on back, and it worked so well. And we're almost at 1 million streams right now for Impact. So we're doing really, really well. And it's a giant Sony's super happy with it. Evo is super happy with it. And I'm excited to do more shit next year too. So
hell yeah, dude. First of all, congratulations, man. Because I'm also like I worked as a video editor. I got laid off recently, but I used to work in esports.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. Again, blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
But yeah, working, like, I did a lot of stuff for Overwatch League, and I did a lot of stuff for Call of Duty League, FIFA, and you run into a lot of people who work there but don't necessarily, like, they aren't involved with the community, right? So I think it's so rare to see like a bunch of people who are super involved with the community, like yourself, like Rick, Chris, Valle, put their passion into it, and you can definitely tell, like, for like,
I do want to also shout out Jimmy Nguyen, by the way. So Jimmy,
yes,
I always tries to say that Jimmy Nguyen is a huge part of Level Up. So he's also that guy bleeds for the community all the time,
Yeah, 100%. I've been in contact with him. Hopefully I'll get him on the show in the near future.
Oh, he'd love to. He'd love it, I'm sure.
Yeah, but like seeing like